Hello everyone and welcome back to Formatherapy. This is the Culture Study and I'm the channel's video producer and your host, you can call me PD. And today we are checking out Tok, aka Poison by Pink Fantasy. It's been a while since we've checked out anything by Pink Fantasy. Usually there are two reasons when I don't check out a comeback from a group. One, it's usually because I didn't like it. I don't like shitting on things people don't like. There are very few things in this world that I think are truly bad, and most of the time it just isn't my thing, it's just not my taste, or I'm not into it, and so I don't release a video for it. I would rather not critique and shit on a group if people like it, rather than spread negativity. And the other reason is it gets blocked. Occasionally, and more often lately, videos are just getting blocked from random labels. Now, in the case of Pink Fantasy, it was actually a rare third happening, which it doesn't happen often, which is I literally just missed it. I just had like no inclination, no just knowledge that the other comebacks existed. You guys have to understand, for me, I am a multi-stan in the truest sense of the word, in that especially because of this channel, I try my damnedest to check out everything that comes out. Everything, whether it's a popular group or whether it's a small new group, I try to check it all out. And because of that, I can't pay attention to everything. It's just not possible. And previously, I was working by myself too, and I definitely could not keep track of that. We're doing a better job now because I'm starting to hire people, and we can try to keep track of comebacks and stuff like that. But Pink Fantasy, Poison in particular, I saw a comment, and you also have to understand, I get thousands of comments a day on my videos, so I'm not able to see all of them, but I do check the comments on the videos as often as I can, and I saw a comment today saying, hey, you checked out Pink Fantasy's debut, you said you liked it, and you said all they really needed was a few improvements, and I think their latest comeback really met those improvements, and I hope you can check it out. And I said, oh wow, it's been a hot minute since I've checked out Pink Fantasy. And so I looked up Poison, and in that process I saw they've had several comebacks since their debut, and I swear I just did not know. I just missed them. That happens sometimes, especially when a group is smaller. But thank you very much for the person in particular who pointed this out and wanted me to check it out. So we're going to be checking out Poison by Pink Fantasy today. Of course, if you like our channel, if you want to support us, you can always visit our Patreon. On our Patreon, we have bonus reactions. We also have live request streams that we do every Wednesday. So if you want to request particular videos from any specific group, you can go ahead and join our boy group or girl group request live streams. Of course, you don't have to support us monetarily if you don't want to. We do have extra stuff like variety or K-drama reactions, competition elimination show reactions like Kingdom or Island, Queendom, but you don't have to support us monetarily. There is a free way to support us, which is to subscribe. Guys, most of you who watch our videos are not subscribed, so if you did, that would be fantastic. I would really appreciate it. Now, let's go ahead and check out, this is Tok, that's the Korean word for poison, by Pink Fantasy, and this is your form of therapy. All right, here we go. 4K. Okay. I can already tell you, from a production and cinematography standpoint, they have vastly improved since their debut. I would say like 5,000%. But let's see the music. Whoa. Whoa, let's turn that up. Oh. Is that multiple people on the chorus? Sounds like multiple people. Whoa. Whoa, actual screamo. Wow. Wow. I have a lot to say about this video. They're largely positive things. We'll talk about it afterwards, but wow. Oh, she's not in that creepy giant Donnie Darko bunny mask anymore. It's like just a face mask. Whoa, okay. Whoa, Blanc. Oh, they can sing. Ooh. Wow, wow. This is their first EP? That might be why I was not as aware of their previous comebacks. If that was their first EP, that means everything previous might have been singles, and singles don't often get as promoted as much. Wow. Okay. Poisoned by Pink Fantasy. Compared to their debut, as I said, I've only seen their debut music video, which, you know, from that video, I could tell, oh, this is a company that has a very limited and a very small budget. It was a very, very, very small budget video. And from there to here, I gotta say, it's a huge improvement. It's not even just like, oh, like, yeah, they did better. It's like, wow, you would almost think they're at a completely different label. That's not to say it's perfect, but I have nothing but a shower of compliments for this. A couple little bits of critique here and there, but why don't we go ahead and watch it again, and then I'll provide my commentary as we're watching. That's not. Okay, first of all, love what they're doing production-wise here. One, cinematography-wise, it's great. It's fantastic. Throughout the entire video, the cinematography is a 10 out of 10. It is top-notch. There, at no point does that ever falter. Little thing that I like here is the different rooms here. They could have just not lit this, but if they had not placed the lights inside these different door areas, you know, it costs more to do this. Here, let me see if I can get a better shot. It costs more to do this. If you look, there's a room here, there's a room here, there's a room here. So there's a lot of coverage. So they could have not put those lights in there, but if they didn't, it would be a much more flat image. But another thing I like that they're doing is, you see these candles right here. They've got these candles, and then if you look in the rooms, the way it's like ebbing and flowing, they're making the lights look like it's that kind of like, you know, that kind of flickering effect you get from candles. So I like that. That's cool. It's that little extra mile that they went that really kind of elevates the video. They still have it going here too. God, those guitars, man. Ooh. Okay, so I was waiting for the second verse so I can confirm something. All right, so my God, this song's really, really great. It's not the way it's composed. It's not produced like a K-pop song. I'll say that. I think this kind of like the flow of this. I think emulates a little bit more kind of like Japanese metal. More than anything, like it's a little bit more coherent and it's not as wild as a K-pop song, where K-pop song has more wildly different sections. Here they take us on a journey and there are highs and lows, but it fits in a more narrative way, whereas K-pop can sometimes almost feel random. So that's neither a good nor a bad thing. That's just a personal preference thing. But something I wanted to point out. So this girl with the short black hair, if you listen to her voice. So I love the way they mixed her voice. If you listen to it, I think there's a little bit of like the way they processed her voice, it makes it sound like there's a little bit of an echo. Yeah, it almost feels like she's in a room where there's a little bit of reverb going on. So her voice sounds really epic. And her and the blonde girl as well, this girl. So I think these two are probably their best singers. I would suspect that they're probably the main and lead vocalists, but their voices, because they're the stronger singers, and they're also I feel like the others are singing more, they're doing the talk singing or head voice type thing, so their voices come through really well in the mix. But maybe it's just me also. I'm deaf in one ear, so it might just be me, but the other girls, if you listen to them, so I feel like the other girls, because they have more of these talk singing lines, their voices feel way more buried by the guitars. And that's, I feel like in the mix, I feel like they needed to be boosted a little bit I'm not saying change the lines or even change the type of singing style. Like, that's what makes it K-pop, like the talk singing section. But I just think that their voices are really heavily buried, because even by Dreamcatcher standards, Dreamcatcher does K-pop in like, they do like metal and rock inspired K-pop. This is like they're going like the actual metal route, so you're getting like those are like really, really heavy sounding guitars, and so their voices are going to be that much more buried. All right, so this is where I also want to have some additional comments as well. I think you don't need to be you don't need to be a video producer or filmmaking nerd like me to know that clearly this is a low budget video. They film literally just in two dance sets, which is this area, which I feel like maybe newest shot here, maybe they didn't. It looks similar to newest most recent video. And then here, which is just like a blank white cyclorama infinity drop background. So it's a fairly low budget video, but it doesn't look crusty, right? Like, it's 2021. Like, honestly, even in 2019, it wasn't really much of an excuse to have crusty looking videos because the cameras are becoming so cheap nowadays on at least a visual standpoint. If you know what you're doing, you can make a music video at least look decent or look pretty. And they did here. I can tell that they have a low budget, but they invested it right. Instead of investing it into the entire production, they focused on a team who will bring at least the visual look, and make it look high quality, and it looks high quality. And even I honestly, like, it shows just from here, like I was talking about, just filling out this area right here and not letting it be flat. Even there, it looks like it's purposely overexposed. And even why did my phone go off? Even here, the white backdrop background, this honestly could look really ugly. It's so simple and it's so plain that it could look really ugly. But the fact that still it's not ugly really speaks to the capability of the video team. Now, I do think one of the weak points of the video team might be their camera work. Certain parts of this feel a little kind of awkward, like in particular, and this is nothing on the girl herself. It's the camera work itself. It's too, like, it was too still. I mean, just watch it again. It's so awkward. She's standing very still and she's making very little motions, but so is the camera. And it just feels really, really awkward to be a part of that moment and to just be watching it. And so, yeah, I feel like if the camera movement had been maybe a little bit wild, especially because it's a metal song and you hear the guitars going wild, but the camera work never necessarily goes too wild. There are portions here and there where the camera is moving, but still. Damn. He got... Wow. Wow. This team really put in a lot of effort. They even got an aerial shot. They got an overhead shot. That's really, really... Wow. See, look how empty this background is. Look how empty this background is. Again, this could look plain. This could look really boring. After all, there's nothing going on. There's no set decoration. There's no props, anything involved. It's just one blank slate. And yet, visually, it still looks really, really... It's not boring. It's not something boring to look at. Just from the way they graded the scene. Just from even just having a nice camera. Listen, anybody who tells you there's that old saying of like, and I think it applies to many different things, which is like, oh, it's not about the camera, it's about the person who uses the camera. It's like, yeah, to an extent, I do believe that when you're starting out as a filmmaker, you should have a limited camera because you need to understand what your camera's limits are to be able to use your camera to the fullest extent, because then when you upgrade to the next camera, you know what you're looking for and you know what you need. That's how you learn a camera. You have to exhaust it to its fullest potential. So there's like this saying of like, oh, like you don't need a nice camera to shoot nice things. But like, imagine if they had shot this with the same kind of gear that they had shot their debut music video with. This blank white scene, right? It would be boring. It would be like, filmmaking and video making is just a lot of like, kind of like, just, it doesn't matter how you do it as long as the end product looks good, you know? It's a lot of cheating in production. It's a lot of cheating in lighting, you know? Like, cheating is literally a word we use in production. It's like, all right, let's cheat this angle, let's cheat the shot. Like, that's literally a thing. And so I'm so glad that there's finally like someone in K-pop or someone in, because most likely they didn't shoot this in-house. There's no way they could afford to shoot this in-house. So most likely they contracted a video team. But I'm so glad that they were like, okay, we only have enough money for to either hire a really, really visually stunning team, but then the video is going to be like, it's not going to have a lot in it. Or we could have a video with a lot in it, but then the quality is going to look ugly as hell. Like, set design, set production, all of that, like, all of that matters. Lighting, all of that matters. But none of that is gonna matter if you use a shitty camera. Just saying. Wow, look at it. Really curious as to who shot this. They really know what they're doing. Look at this shot. It looks really good. It's graded really well too. It's graded really well. Like, if you see like how the shadows have like that teal color to it, you need a really, really, really nice camera to be able to pull that kind of color grading. Wow. This is graded really well too. Oh, wow. And also by the editing, I can tell like, wow, they had really good editors, good color grading. Like, they really exhausted the team to its fullest potential. Like they didn't have much to work with. They really didn't have much to work with, but they were like, all right, we don't have a big budget. Let's just get a shit ton of coverage so that our editor can figure out a way to work some magic. And they really did. I think the editing here is pretty dope. I wish she had held that note out a little bit longer. I feel like it's something that would have been a cool moment to kind of show off. But in general, I feel like the producing like was really well done. Just the producer did a good job of like the song, like as great a singer as these two are, the blonde and the girl with the short black hair, as great as singers as they are, the song itself does not do much to like really, really push their voices and show it off to the fullest potential. So the bridge is really the moment where their voices really get to shine. And I think just incorporating that section and not just having a forgettable bridge was really good, and using it as a, like, it's not a memorable bridge in any other regard, like in the instrumental or like, oh my god, this is something like that's never been done before. No, but they use the bridge as a moment to show off their voices. So I think they did great. Also, I feel like what would have been really impactful here, which is when you hear that first, like this part right here, that I thought they would do like, I feel like this moment would have been more impactful if the guitars were more intermittent. If I'm not a musician, so I don't know, like half bar, whatever the term is. If it was intermittent, instead of like immediately jumping right back into like the speed metal, I feel like it would have been more impactful. Oh, wait a minute. How did I not see? Okay, this is the problem. I didn't notice her belting that note until I saw it saw it visually, I was like, wait a minute, like that's the pose you make when you're about to do a Baekhyun kind of note, and then. But like I feel like it's so buried in not just the other girls singing, but in the guitars. See, she cuts it off right there, and she picks it up again. So actually, I'm glad. Like, okay, she didn't stretch out that note. It's fine. She stretches it out here, which is great. But again, I feel like if this moment, if it was more intermittent, she would have been able to show off her voice a lot better. Also, the guitar, the electric guitar, bring that up more. That's also buried. It's like way too buried. Like, I feel like that should have been like, it would have provided such an interesting color for the song, like right at the end, but it definitely feels so buried. It feels like kind of like the crazy, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers kind of riff. It's too quiet. You can barely hear it. Yeah, like the kind of like the speed metal and the electronic elements of the song are a little bit too loud and a little bit too crazy that it kind of hides that electric guitar. And it's not necessarily their fault. It's a problem I hear a lot in K-pop. Like even like there was a G-Friend song, I forget which G-Friend song, where it ends with like a sudden like an electric guitar coming out of nowhere. It might have been like Heya or something like that, or a different song, but it's like an electric guitar at the end. And it's like you can barely hear it, and I think that's the like. I grew up on like alt rock, and like I'm really into like rock music and stuff like that, and you know I've worked with bands before, and so this is a common problem I see with like producers and sound engineers who are not rock artists. They don't understand that. I don't know why they don't get that, but they don't get that. But yeah, that's probably like my last little critique I would have. But that is Poison by Pink Fantasy. It's not a perfect song. It's not a perfect video, but I do have to give it a 10 out of 10 score just for improvement, just for like, wow, this company really like, there are groups that start out at the bottom and then just kind of stay at the bottom because of no fault of their own, other than just company doesn't have enough money. And that's also kind of not the company's fault, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. That's a whole different conversation, but this is a vast improvement. And I think the company's, I know nothing about the group. I know nothing about their personal affairs. So I say this very lightly from a purely production standpoint. From what I see on this shallow surface, I think the company has done a good job. Now, I don't know. Maybe the company mistreats them or whatever. I don't trust corporations. But I just want to compliment them for at least this. This was really well done. This is probably the biggest like punch up I've seen in improvement in almost any group. I can't think of a group that wildly exceeded my expectations like this. But I have to give it a 10 out of 10 because of that. Because, I can't judge this video by itself because context matters. And so I know this is a company with very small resources, especially based on their debut video. And even based on that song, like even the quality of the song has improved. So they've even put more effort into like finding either better producers or it's like the same producer or like composer, and they've improved. Who knows? But either way, 10 out of 10 from me. Really well done. All right, that's it for my reaction and review of Pink Fantasy's Poison. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Sorry that I missed the past few comebacks, but let me know, based on, their previous comebacks and their debut, how does this video hold up? Let me know in the comments down below. Once again, if you would like to support the channel, please consider visiting our Patreon. That's patreon.com/formtherapy. We have bonus reactions on there like live stages, variety show, K-drama requests. So we would greatly appreciate it if you did join us. Of course, you don't have to support us monetarily if you don't want to or you can't. Some free ways to support us. You can leave a comment down below. You can hit the like button when you interact with our videos. It really helps us out. And who knows, if this video gets boosted, more people might discover Pink Fantasy through me. And so it's a win-win for both of us. So we would greatly appreciate it if you also shared our videos. Also, if you're new, please consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button, hit the notification button to be notified when we upload a new video. Check out our other videos over here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.